New this morning, thousands of 18-wheelers barrel down our highways every day, semi-truck after semi-truck, delivering stock from place to place. But are these trucks delivering on safety or putting your family in danger? 10 Investigates Paul Aker has uncovered a frightening trend plaguing semi-trucks across the country. The quality of safety bars on the rear of semis like these can mean the difference between life and death, especially when a driver rear-ends a semi in a crash. What Paul found is that many of these bars meant to keep cars from careening under the truck are failing.
It seems like they're not really taking care of that part of the truck, and I know that's important because if a rear-end collision, that keeps the car from going under the truck.
10 Investigates found hundreds of people die in rear-end crashes involving semi-trucks every year. Joining me in the studio today is 10 Investigates Paul Aker. Paul, thanks for being with us. You discovered some issues that could potentially put people's lives at risk here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just define the issue first. What we're talking about is what's called underride, and that's when a car hits the back of a semi. These bars that you mentioned are supposed to stop the car, and with these new cars that we have, allow the airbag to do its job. If it doesn't, what happens is the car slides under, and regardless of whether there's an airbag or not, the back of that trailer penetrates the compartment, the passenger safety compartment as it's known. The problem there, of course, is that now you've got a person hitting direct metal from the semi-trailer. The issue that we found is twofold. First of all, that the guards themselves aren't designed properly, so at highway speeds they'll actually stop that car.
And we're actually looking at some crash video of that right now, some of those tests.
In fact, right, that's when it works properly, what you're seeing right there. When it fails, the car slides right under. And what we found, back to the point, is that a lot of times those guards in the United States aren't designed strong enough so that they'll stop a car at highway speeds. You know, 30 miles an hour, they'll stop it. 60 miles an hour, they won't. And that's lagging behind some other countries, including Canada. But moreover, even if you do have those guards that are designed strongly enough, what we found out there on the highways with our own eyes is that they're failing in a lot of cases. They're corroded, they're bent, they're broken, and it wouldn't matter what the design standard was, because when they get out there and they start to fall apart, as I put it in one of my stories, they wouldn't stop a breeze. You know, you're not getting the safety that you need.
Well, talk more about why these bars are failing then, Paul, and why aren't people more concerned about this?
Well, I'll tell you, we talked to an expert and an advocate in Washington, D.C. area who's been advocating for this since the 90s. And prior to that, there was no bar. There was basically, if you ran in the back of a semi-trailer, you were just going to go under. You know, in the mid-90s, they determined that the bar should be in place, but the standard was never strong enough. And so some people have been lobbying for a long time. NHTSA just recently came up with a study that it says it's now reviewing that shows 250 to 400 people a year die because of these rear-end crashes. Wow. A lot of people say it's just time. You know, it's certainly the mistake of the driver most of the time when they go into the back of a trailer.
Sure.
But the advocates say, look, that shouldn't mean somebody loses their life.
Sure.
Of course, the trucking industry balances that with the cost. You know, how much is it going to cost? The estimates that I've seen, probably $100 to $200 per trailer. You know, over a fleet of some big companies, over thousands of trailers, that can add up. So, you know, as anything, it's a balancing act.
Wow, such an interesting subject. Really looking forward to it, Paul. Paul's two-part series begins on Monday. Join us at 6 and 11 as 10 Investigates digs deeper into the danger of these failing bars. Plus, what you'll want to see happen when Paul took his concerns straight to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Again, that's Monday at 6 and 11, right here on 10 TV.